Today, we're going on an absolutely incredible journey, literally starting from the ground right beneath our feet and traveling all the way up into the unseen realms above us.
Picture this. You step outside on a super clear night. You look up and you see the moon and just thousands of stars. It's so easy to look out into the dark and think, well, what's actually above us? You'd probably guess it's just endless, empty, freezing space, right? But what if I told you the Quran actually describes the sky as a protected roof? It's a fascinating concept, and honestly, it totally reorients how we look at the night sky.
So here's our cosmic flight map for today. We're going to cover Earth's protected roof, the nearest heaven, the expanding universe, defining the seven heavens, the miraculous mirage, and finally, beyond the visible.
All right, starting off with Section 1, Earth's protected roof and the atmosphere. Let's look at our immediate surroundings and see exactly how ancient texts line up in a really fascinating way with modern scientific observation.
Now, what is truly mind-blowing here is how a 1,400-year-old verse describes the sky, not as some empty void, but as an active, protective shield. It says, "And we made the sky a protective roof." I want you to keep that exact phrase in mind, protected roof, as we look at what modern science tells us today.
Today, science breaks it down into these 5 distinct atmospheric layers wrapping right around our globe. You've got the troposphere down here where our weather happens, moving up to the stratosphere, which, by the way, crucially contains the ozone layer that absorbs the sun's harsh UV rays, all the way up to the exosphere. And these layers, they aren't just empty air. They literally act like a massive, multi-layered bulletproof vest that makes life on Earth possible. But wait, it gets even cooler. Right beyond the atmosphere is another incredible system called the magnetosphere. Think of it as a huge invisible magnetic shield. When the sun shoots out solar winds packed with highly dangerous charged particles at millions of miles an hour, Earth's magnetic field just deflects the danger. Sometimes we actually see this interaction as those breathtaking auroras. It's a phenomenal physical shield. Though we definitely need to remember that the Quran's concept of a protected roof carries a much broader theological meaning than just these physical phenomena.
Moving right along to Section 2, the nearest heaven. Let's see how this concept builds as we travel further out into the vastness of space.
So, the text tells us, "And we have certainly beautified the nearest heaven with lamps." Now, obviously, the night sky is filled with stars, but stars aren't just tiny pinpricks of light. Our sun is a star, and it's just one of billions in the Milky Way, which itself is just one of billions of galaxies out there. The real key takeaway here is that this almost unimaginable scale of cosmic objects, the whole shebang, is all contained within what the text simply calls the nearest heaven.
Next up is Section 3, the expanding universe. As we look way past our own galaxy, we run into one of the most talked about intersections of Scripture and modern cosmology.
The verse here states, "And the heaven we built with strength, and indeed we are expanding it." Now, modern cosmology has actually independently established that the universe is in fact expanding. It is a massive cornerstone of modern astrophysics, and naturally, that brings the specific ancient verse right into sharp contemporary focus. But here is where we need to be really precise. While it's deeply fascinating that the wording feels so compatible with cosmic expansion, we have to look at how it was classically understood. Classical scholars, in their tafsir, interpreted the term bi-din as a testament to profound divine strength and power. It was meant to convey ultimate majesty, not necessarily a literal scientific formula. So rather than forcing a modern equation onto an ancient text, we should really just appreciate the profound reflection it offers on the sheer, mind-boggling vastness of creation.
Okay, Section 4, defining the seven heavens. Now we're hitting the boundary between what we can physically observe through our telescopes and the unseen realities of the seven heavens. The Quran uses a very specific term here, tibaqan, to describe the seven heavens. This word carries the meaning of layers, things being placed one right above another. And because of this specific layered wording, it leads to a very common modern assumption that we absolutely need to clarify.
It's absolutely vital to draw a clear distinction here. People so often try to map those 5 scientific atmospheric layers we talked about directly onto the 7 heavens. But the source texts do not claim the atmospheric layers are the 7 heavens. Science studies the physical, observable universe, right? The 7 heavens, according to the Quran and authentic Sunnah, are entirely a matter of the unseen. We should really avoid forcing modern scientific boundaries onto matters of unseen reality. Which brings us right to Section 5, the miraculous mirage or the night journey. This is where the earthly realm and these unseen layered heavens completely intersect. During the incredible night known as Isra and Miraj, the Prophet Muhammad, accompanied by the angel Jibreel, ascended sequentially through these distinct, unseen heavens. At each level, Jibreel would ask for the door to be opened, and at every single spectacular stop, the Prophet met different prophets who had come before him. So you have Prophet Adam in the first heaven, Yahya and Isa in the second, Yusuf in the third, Idris in the fourth, Harun in the fifth, Musa in the sixth, and Prophet Ibrahim all the way up in the seventh heaven. For followers of the faith, these are not just poetic metaphors, they are detailed realities mapped out through an extraordinary, miraculous journey.
Finally, Section 6, Beyond the Visible. As we wrap up our journey from the earth to the absolute highest heavens, our perspective really has to shift.
Science brilliantly helps us understand the mechanics of the atmosphere, those magnetic fields, and even a life cycle of stars. But these ancient source texts ultimately humble our minds. They point out that no matter how much we observe or how incredibly powerful our telescopes get, the sheer greatness of creation is completely beyond human comprehension. The verse actually states, "Then look again and again. Your sight will return to you humbled and tired."
So what's the big takeaway from all of this? Well, the next time you look up at the night sky, think about that unseen magnetosphere actively protecting you. Think about the billions of galaxies expanding outward into the dark. But then, try shifting your perspective. Stop merely asking, how big is the sky, and ask something far more profound, something that will spark an entirely new journey for you. Ask yourself, who created all of this?